Everybody, I'm going to tell you a whole story about the next song, which kind of fits in here, and explain why when I learned that Mike had arranged for us to play here, I brought this tune in, which I wrote, and I just said we had to do it. Long time ago, about 40 years ago, I was on the road playing at colleges. I played at a college in Howard's Grove, Wisconsin, and it was the coldest I ever was in my life. It was 40 degrees below zero. So we kind of got snowed in there for a couple extra days. So I found my way to the chapel where there was a nice piano, and I wrote a tune. Now on this particular trip, my wife had given me a book to read called Selma Lord Selma. That was about two young girls growing up in Martin Luther King's church, and about what happened during those civil rights years. And I thought it was a great book. So the tune that came out when I played the piano came out in the black gospel style, which is something I never wrote before or since. So anyway, we added it to our repertoire. The doo-wop was in, except we didn't have a name for it. We just called it gospel tune. And when we played later at Allegheny College, we announced that one student who was a freshman particularly liked our music and hung out with us the whole time we were there. Really very insightful young man. It was fun to hang out with. Anyway, so when that duo broke up, the very first gig I got from a later duo was at Allegheny College 5 years ago. So we showed up and that tune was still in my repertoire, still didn't have a name. And after I finished, someone came up and said, "Do you remember me?" He goes, "I met you 5 years ago. It was that young guy that hung out with us. And he had taken a year off and come back. So he was there for an additional year. It's almost seemed like destiny." And he goes, "For 5 years I've thought about you, and I have a name for your tune." And he decided, he chose one which I really liked. He calls it The Open Road Leads Home. So I felt it was a perfect thing to play at the Open Road Coffeehouse.
Thank you, Steve.